Welcome to our video, Courts and Climate, Landmark Cases Shaping Environmental Law. Today, we'll explore pivotal legal battles that have fundamentally influenced environmental policy and climate action in the United States. From the groundbreaking Massachusetts versus EPA case that set the stage for federal regulation of greenhouse gases, to the recent challenges in California versus Texas, we'll examine how these landmark rulings have shaped the interplay between law and environmental stewardship. Join us as we delve into each case's implications and what they mean for future climate efforts. 1. Massachusetts versus EPA, 2007. The Massachusetts versus EPA case is a cornerstone in environmental law, marking a pivotal moment in the regulation of greenhouse gases. In 2007, the Supreme Court ruled that the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has the authority to regulate carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases under the Clean Air Act. This decision was groundbreaking because it recognized greenhouse gases as pollutants that could be regulated. The case arose from concerns that the EPA was not adequately addressing climate change, and it empowered the agency to take more aggressive actions. It set a precedent for future environmental actions, emphasizing that federal agencies have a responsibility to combat climate change. This case is often cited as a turning point in U.S. environmental policy, highlighting the critical role of the judiciary in shaping climate regulations. 2. Juliana versus United States, 2015. Juliana versus United States brought the voices of young environmental activists to the forefront, with a group of plaintiffs arguing that the government's inaction on climate change violated their constitutional rights. Filed in 2015, the case was unique in that it framed climate change as a violation of the rights to life, liberty, and property. The plaintiffs sought to hold the government accountable for its role in contributing to climate change, demanding a plan to reduce carbon emissions. Although the case faced numerous legal challenges, it succeeded in raising awareness about the urgent need for climate action. It highlighted the idea that future generations have a right to a stable and healthy environment, sparking discussions around environmental justice and intergenerational equity. 3. Sierra Club versus Morton, 1972. Sierra Club versus Morton is a seminal case that expanded the legal standing of environmental organizations, allowing them to sue to protect the environment. Prior to this 1972 decision, organizations often struggled to demonstrate direct harm, which limited their ability to bring lawsuits. The Supreme Court ruled that environmental groups could have standing if they could show that their members would be adversely affected by a proposed action. This decision empowered organizations like the Sierra Club to advocate for environmental protection and hold entities accountable for ecological damage. It paved the way for more robust environmental litigation, ensuring that environmental concerns could be addressed in the courtroom. 4. American Electric Power Company versus Connecticut, 2011. In American Electric Power Company versus Connecticut, the Supreme Court reinforced the EPA's authority to regulate greenhouse gases, impacting states' ability to sue power companies for emissions. Decided in 2011, this case involved several states and environmental groups suing power companies for contributing to climate change. The court ruled that the Clean Air Act delegates the regulation of carbon emissions to the EPA, limiting states' ability to pursue federal common law claims. This decision underscored the importance of federal regulations in addressing climate change, emphasizing that the EPA is the primary entity responsible for managing greenhouse gas emissions. It also highlighted the challenges states face in addressing climate change through litigation. 5. Friends of the Earth versus Laidlaw Environmental Services, 2000. The Friends of the Earth versus Laidlaw Environmental Services case broadened access to justice for environmental groups by allowing them to sue for violations of the Clean Water Act without proving harm to their recreational interests. In 2000, the Supreme Court ruled that the plaintiffs had standing to sue based on allegations of pollution, even if they could not demonstrate direct harm. This decision was significant because it recognized the right of citizens and organizations to hold polluters accountable, enhancing the enforcement of environmental laws. It emphasized the importance of citizen involvement in environmental protection, encouraging communities to take legal action against environmental violations. 6. California versus Texas, 2021. The California versus Texas case, while primarily focused on the Affordable Care Act, highlighted the intersection between health and environmental law. Decided in 2021, this case challenged the individual mandate of the Affordable Care Act, bringing attention to how health policies can impact environmental regulations. While the case did not directly address climate change, it underscored the interconnectedness of health and environmental policy, suggesting that legal decisions in one area can have ripple effects in another. It prompted discussions about how climate change can affect public health, and the role of law in addressing these complex issues. 7. Environmental Defense Fund versus EPA, 1992. In Environmental Defense Fund versus EPA, the court upheld the EPA's authority to regulate hazardous air pollutants, affirming the agency's role in protecting public health. Decided in 1992, this case involved challenges to the EPA's regulations under the Clean Air Act. The court's decision reinforced the importance of stringent environmental protections, emphasizing that public health must be a priority in regulatory decisions. This case highlighted the critical role of the EPA in implementing environmental laws and ensuring that air quality standards are met. It also demonstrated the judiciary's support for robust environmental regulations to safeguard communities. 8. Waterkeeper Alliance versus EPA, 2017. The Waterkeeper Alliance versus EPA case demonstrated the role of courts in enforcing environmental regulations by challenging the EPA's decision to roll back water protections. Decided in 2017, this case involved the Clean Water Rule, which aimed to protect wetlands and streams. The court's decision highlighted the judiciary's role in scrutinizing regulatory rollbacks, ensuring that environmental laws are upheld. It emphasized the importance of protecting water resources, recognizing the vital role they play in ecosystems and public health. This case reinforced the idea that the courts can serve as a critical check on executive actions that may undermine environmental protections.